Hi, I'm Shawn Evans. Thanks for joining me. Apparently, I'm a legendary boss. I'm here to tell you a little bit about my story. If you have questions or queries throughout the broadcast, please feel free to ask them in the comments below, and either myself or BCITO will try and answer those for you. So, as I said, my name is Shawn Evans. I've been in business about 22, 23 years now with my business partner, Lynn, who likes to stay clear of the camera. Our name of the business is Gateway Glass and Aluminium in Tokoroa. We have 4 shops, 4 branches, and they're based obviously in Tokoroa here, which is where I am most of the time, Thames, Whitianga and Rotorua, with a total staff of around about 44, 45 currently. We do aluminium joinery and glazing. So we make aluminium windows, doors, etc., and we make the New Look brand of joinery. We also do repairs and maintenance on timber and aluminium windows and all glazing work. So that's from fixing timber windows and doors, the glass, putty work, boat windscreens, car windscreens. So we have quite a diverse range of jobs that we do, and probably one of the few shops in New Zealand that probably does that whole range of jobs out of one shop, or a group of shops, if you like. So I got into the business, I suppose, the aluminium joinery business 30 years ago, working for a local boss here, it was a case of leaving school. I wanted to leave school. I didn't have I wasn't overly bright at school. Didn't do too badly, but wasn't like any genius. And my boss, my dad actually, dragged me down to a shop one day and said, "Here's a job, boy, going in the paper, get into it." So I went down and applied, got the job. Back then was labouring, doing aluminium joinery, as there was no apprenticeships as such back then. And basically worked for 5 years, learning as much as I could about the glass and aluminium joinery industry and business. I sort of was then encouraged by some customers at that stage, Lynn, who's now my business partner, still is my business partner, to maybe get out and have a crack on my own, and along with a couple of builders, local builders in town, and a few other people. With their encouragement, basically got into it and just went out on my own, and really had no idea about business or what it was to run a business or do any of that sort of stuff. All I knew how to do really was make windows, and I think I was okay at doing that. So we got into that pretty much. Worked from home, from a garage, if you like. At that point, as I was about 21, and like I say, knew nothing about business. Went out and bought a whole lot of gear that I needed, and started working from a garage. Pretty much at that point, our house burnt down. We lost everything, including lots of the stuff that we bought for the business. So I was all set to go back to my old boss, cap in hand, and ask my job back. But thanks to Warren and Lynn, again my business partners and friends at that stage, encouraged me to carry on, and we started working from Warren's garage and making aluminium windows and doors and what have you. Quickly progressed from there into a little workshop, and needed to take on some staff. So I took on a young guy, and started off as just a labourer like myself, working for me, and we quickly grew the business to a point where I was trying to do everything. I was trying to do the quoting, the measuring, the making, and soon realised that I couldn't do everything, and I needed more help. That's when Lynn and Warren stepped in and offered me some advice and some help, and I needed some cash to input into the business as well to help it grow, which I didn't have. I was just starting a young family, and all that cash was sort of getting tied up with that. So they invested in the business and become business partners. We're 50-50, and from there Lynn came and worked as the office lady, and did the accounts, what have you, and taught me a bit about GST and all those sorts of different things that you need to know in business. And we moved from our little workshop into some bigger premises on one of the main streets in Tokoroa here, and grew the business again. We quickly grew from 3 staff to, I think it was 5, and it's just kept going from there. We were doing a lot of work in the Coromandel from the Tokoroa shop, and we decided that maybe it wouldn't be a silly idea to start a shop up there, or open a sales office maybe. So we looked into it and decided that maybe the best option was to keep manufacturing from the Tokoroa shop, aluminium windows and doors, and then have the sales office in Thames, but have it as a working sales office, so have people there that could sell for us, but also doing glass work and maintenance for the joinery that we were selling, as well as existing stuff. So that helped prop things up and keep things going. So we did that, and at that point we were doing a lot of windscreens and what have you as well. We were an agent for a large windscreen company in New Zealand here, and we quickly became their #1 seller of windscreens, seller and installer of windscreens, along with our aluminium joinery for the new look. They encouraged us to expand and go to Whitianga, which we did probably about 6 months after opening the Thames shop, and that's grown significantly more. Just recently with that shop, we've moved premises to a bigger and brighter shop, putting in a new showroom up there, and yeah, it's looking really sharp. More recently, about 3 years ago, we had an opportunity to open a shop in Rotorua and pick up some existing staff from a business over there, which we did, and we've been slowly working away in Rotorua there, building that business, and it's starting to go really well. So yeah, in short, that's pretty much really how we kicked off, and it's sort of 24 years ago. So it's been great, actually. It's been a really great experience, and we've had a lot of fun along the way. We've met a lot of great people. We've had a lot of great staff, and over the last few years we've got quite involved with BCITO, and started taking on apprentices, and we've had some awesome apprentices. We've actually had one of our young guys, Brendan Shepherd. He's done 3 continuous apprenticeships, one after the other, with us. So he's done auto glazing, glazing, and more recently just finished his AAJ, machining and cutting in aluminium joinery. So he's qualified in three different apprenticeships, and last year won the AAJ best joiner in the country. We also had Siobhan, who's actually my daughter, also doing that same apprenticeship, and she was a close second. So it was pretty cool. So pretty proud moments for me as a dad, but also as a boss, to see those young people, going through and doing really well. And it's a credit to all our other staff, all our other tradesmen and workers out there that that they're doing their job properly as well, and teaching these young people how to get things going and up there and to a high level and a high standard. I suppose some of the good things in our trade is that we get to meet such a huge number of different people from different walks of life, and from because of our shops and the geographical area that we cover, we meet we see a lot of the country. It's awesome. As I say, meet a lot of great people from all walks of life, and we've made some really great friends along the way. Both as business owners or other business owners, as well as clients, that have become really great friends. And through, I guess, through my own experience, being in business and making mistakes and learning from them, and with help and having other people mentor us, we've learnt from that, and I'm finding that now that to a degree I'm in a position where I'm actually helping others to get into business and offering them advice, and I guess mentoring them, which gives you a great feeling of satisfaction. It's really cool, so I guess the staff think I'm a legendary boss. And it's very humbling for them to think that, I guess. But to be honest, I don't think I'm doing anything special. I think I'm just doing my job and treating everybody the way that I'd want to be treated. As a worker or an employee. I don't think really that I'm doing anything different. It's a funny thing when people talk about you're a legendary boss, what have you, and I don't see myself as that. As I said earlier on, we've got apprentices that are going through and are coming out the other side and achieving really well. We've currently got, I think, six apprentices across the 4 branches at this stage. We've got another 4 that are about to sign up, all doing different apprenticeships with BCITO. Some are doing AAJ, some are doing installation, that's installation of aluminium windows, glazing and auto glazing. So 4 different apprenticeships, apprentice type things that they're doing with the different people. As I said earlier, my daughter's been here. We've got some girls, some ladies that are with us in the industry. Siobhan has just started her 2nd apprenticeship, so she's finished her AAJ recently, and she's about to start a new one. So that's quoting and measuring. We've also had Julia, who's our H&R manager, if you like. She's mid last year, I think it was. We basically helped her go do online Massey University, and she's got a diploma now in business studies. So just looking at her diploma on the wall, so she's really proud of that, and we're really proud that we actually helped her achieve that, through financial assistance and obviously support and encouragement here at work, and giving her time off to do exams and things like that, because we see that as a benefit to us as well, as well as her putting all the hard work that she does for us, and that goes the same with all our other staff, whether it's an apprentice or not. We very recently, actually, as I said earlier, 30 years in the business, and Scott Cato from BCITO actually encouraged me that to do my apprenticeship. As I said earlier, there was no apprenticeships when I started in this trade, and now there is, and it's great to see that, because there's a lot of great people out there in the trade, especially with aluminium joinery, that have been in the industry a long time and longer than me, that really have not got a lot of recognition for that, and I think it's a good thing. It's a great thing, actually. So as I say, I did mine, and very recently just passed, got through it just, I think, probably with a little bit of help from Scott. So yeah, pretty cool. We probably one of the most important things I suppose I've learnt along my journey as a boss is to be open and honest with your staff. If you're not, you're going to get called out. It's as simple as that, and it's easier to be honest and open. Sometimes, as they say, the truth hurts, but we have a philosophy that we like to sit down if there's any issues that crop up, and we'd be lying if we said that there wasn't. Every business has this, that there are issues that crop up, whether it be staff relationships, or somebody's not getting on with somebody else, or whatever the case may be. It's best to deal with it, nip it in the butt straight away, deal with it, be honest, and sort it down. Sit everybody down, have a discussion, we're all adults, we're not at school anymore, and get it sorted. So that's one of the things that we encourage, and I think that helps to encourage the staff to come back and talk to us if there are any issues, to look out for one another, which is really important, and obviously look out for us and us as a business. They know that if we're doing well, they're going to do well. They've got a job, it's safe and secure, and they don't have to worry about it. They've just got to turn up to work, do their job, and go home knowing they're going to get paid every week. And I think that's a big plus for us. We've gone without, I guess, in the past, to make sure that our staff are being paid on time and in full, and that's something that we've stuck to for the last 24 years, and that's the same with our suppliers. We like to pay them first, and make sure that everything's sorted and done and dusted before we take anything out ourselves. So some of our staff, we've got a couple that have been with us a heck of a long time now. One in particular has been with us 17 years, so he's been pretty close to the start. He, as he said to me today, we were having a discussion, and he said to me, Shawn, I wouldn't be here if you weren't a great boss. And I felt that was really cool. It was really neat for him to tell me that. So he's getting near retirement age now, and he said, there's nowhere else I'd want to be. He said, it's not always easy, and then he said, I've worked with you, Shawn, when you were still on the tools, out in the factory floor every day, 6 till 10 at night, doing long hours, and he said, and I've been there with you, and I've seen you grow, and the same goes for me to him too as well. It's I've seen him grow and learn, and we're still learning. We still get together and nut things out every now and then, and show some of the younger ones, and try and teach them the right way. So it's really satisfying, and to know that you've got staff that have been with you, for 17 years, and 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, so it's really cool, and that's something that I guess we've learnt, as I said, along the way, and how to look after our staff and treat them well. Some of those things that we sort of do for them, I guess, is we like to have a really encourage a social club where we get out and do things together. We go 10-pin bowling, we have mystery bus trips. We've had Mike King, the comedian, come in and talk to us and tell us jokes and entertain us for a night, and dinner and dancing and music and what have you. Christmas this year we had a casino night, and we dressed everything up, and it was a cowboy and Indian type theme, and everyone got dressed up, and it was great. Everyone had a ball. It was so those are some of the little things that we do. Occasionally, if somebody needs, we'll help them out financially. We've done all sorts of things. I do a lot of hunting and stuff, so I bring in venison and pork and what have you for the staff and give it away to them. We have events where the kids, the staff's kids come in, and we get bouncy castles and things like that, and have a barbecue and just get-togethers and have a good time, watch the rugby, different things like that. So we feel that we're, each and every one of our staff is a family, as a family member, and we treat them as such, and I think they appreciate that, I think one of the important things that we all need to do as business owners and bosses, I guess, is, and this is something that probably, maybe going back 5 to 7 years ago, probably 7 to 10 years ago, I suddenly realised that a lot of my staff were ageing, were getting older, and that we had no young people coming through in the industry, and we were running out of people to work, quite simply. So all of a sudden I realised we need to start trying to encourage some of these young people to get into this trade, and join us and do the work with us, and teach them, because there's been this huge gap with apprentices and across all industries. So we started taking on apprentices, and with the help of BCITO, it was all new to me. I didn't really know much about how to take on an apprentice and do the whole training thing and what have you. But BCITO were awesome. They give us heaps of advice, heaps of help, and were there every day that we needed them, basically. And as I said earlier, we've got quite a few in training and about to enter training, and some that have just come out more recently. It's really important that we do that and get these people into trades in the building industry, especially because without them there is no future. We don't have a future. Our business doesn't have a future, and that's the same for every business in New Zealand. We need these young people to be involved in our business. We need to be teaching them. We need to be teaching them the right way, so that they can come through and hopefully start their own businesses or buy ours. Things like that. We need these people, and not everybody can be a boss. We need those people on the floor as well. So every now and then there's going to be one that's going to stand out, that's going to go through and do really well and be really successful, and that's really cool. And as I said earlier, you don't have to be a brain surgeon. You don't have to have a great education. In fact, some of the best bosses I know have got no education. Some of them can't even read or write, and that's awesome, and they've employed a lot of people and done really, really well and are very successful, and some of them still are in business. Probably one of my proudest moments as an employer was having both Brendan Shepherd and Siobhan, my daughter, up at the Wands Gala Awards last year, for obviously achieving and doing exceptionally well in our industry and being at the top of, basically the top of their game. For me, as I said earlier, both being a boss and a father, absolutely amazing. And I know it was the same for Warren and Lynn, my business partners as well. As I say, they've been involved with my kids all the way through, and have seen Brendan come all the way through as well. And it's great to see them grow and do really well and be acknowledged for all the hard work that they put in. Looking forward to this year. I think we've got a few again that are going to reach the top. Maybe not this year, maybe the following year, certainly. But I expect that we're going to have apprentices in the top 10 again this year. And I'm going to encourage them to do that too, because I believe they can. With our business, we have an open door policy so that people can come in, like our staff can come and talk to us at any time about anything, whether it be work related, personal reasons, whatever. I think that all our staff know that. Whether they choose to do that or not, obviously is their choice. But it's certainly, the door is always open, and I guess over the course of the years we've had a lot of staff come to us with lots of different things and different reasons, just to have a talk, a chat, some advice, all sorts of different things. And I guess again that makes me feel like, hey, I'm doing my job, I'm helping them, and it gives you that warm, furry feeling inside. A lot of the time when we have the staff that achieve something really good, they finish their apprenticeship, they do really well. We're at a particular sporting event outside of work. They do a really great job, whatever. We'll have a bit of a celebratory, smoko shout or something like that. We'll shout them smoko. Another popular one is, which I think helps encourage team building and team, that growth, and brings everybody closer. We have a smoko shout for birthdays. It's not compulsory. Those that want to join in do, and to be honest, most do, because obviously everyone's going to get a turn, because everyone has a birthday every year, and that's always a good time. Everyone, we take a bit of time out. We don't stick to our 10-20 minute smokos. We might have a bit long. We might have a barbecue, and we'll get out there and we'll help each other. Some we'll cut the onions up, some we'll cook the sausages and butter the bread or whatever, and we'll have cakes and biscuits and all those things that you're not supposed to eat. It's all bad for you, but we do that, and everyone chips in and does their thing, and it's really good. We have a lot of laughs, and it's a bit of a time to take the mickey out of our workmates and their age and things like that, and as I say, it always goes down well. Of course, something in your stomach that you like always goes down well anyway. Obviously, with all those sorts of things that we do, we do it because we want to do it, not because we have to do it. And we believe that, if we look after our staff well and treat them well, treat them the way that we want to be treated, we get the results and we get the rewards, as well as them. They work hard for us, we work hard for them, and it's a team effort, so what else can we talk about? If any of you guys are out there that are maybe watching this, that are maybe looking at changing jobs, getting into a trade, leaving school or whatever, I could highly recommend getting into the building industry at this stage, whether it be glazing, aluminium joinery, building, plumbing, carpet laying, whatever. It's a great time to get in. It's a great time to be in it. There's heaps of work out there, which is obviously always a good thing, and there's heaps of good bosses out there that are starting to understand that by treating your staff right, we don't always get it right, we do our best, but by treating them right, you're going to get the rewards. You're going to enjoy work. I love going to work. It's awesome. I love coming and seeing the guys. I sit there and have a coffee with them in the morning or a cup of tea, and we talk about all sorts of stuff. Building fences, shearing sheep, hunting, fishing, all those sorts of things. Boxing, what sports club what sport they're playing this year, rugby league, what gym they're going to, how much weight they've lost, how much they've put on, all those sorts of different things, and it's really cool. We really do enjoy it, and that's across the board. It's not just me with the boys; it's the boys with them, talking, and girls talking with each other, and it's really cool. We really enjoy it. For anyone that's maybe thinking of getting into their own business, or in their own business, and are thinking of taking on staff, I've had this question put to me a few times recently from a couple of builders about staff and whether they should or shouldn't take on staff. I'm a firm believer that realistically, without staff, you're not going to last in business. You need staff these days. You need to be taking on those young people and teaching them. You're going to teach them the way that you want to work. You want to teach them the right way, and you'll get the rewards. You'll reap the rewards later on. There's no two ways about it. Obviously you've got to have the work, but generally you'll find that you take on a staff member. If you think you've got the work, you probably have got the work, and you should probably do it. So rightio. Probably what are we time wise? Right, we've got a question from William Palmer. What will Gateway be like coming from school? We've had a lot of school leavers actually join us. Brendan Shepherd was one, so he was head pupil or head boy at Forest View High School, and obviously he could have gone on to uni or those sorts of places, and carried on in that sort of direction. He chose not to, and decided that maybe this would be a career for him, and as I say, he's done exceptionally well. 3 apprenticeships under his belt now and still going strong. He's now one of our head guys, probably our most diverse employee. There's pretty much nothing that Brendan can't do in here now. I'm not saying he's perfect. None of us are, but it just goes to show that you can. He came straight from school. We've got a number of other local boys that have joined us straight from school. Some are working here in our Tagaroa shop, a couple in our Rotorua branch. We've got another one straight from school that's just recently signed up his apprenticeship doing glazing in our Thames branch. We've got one that came from school many years ago, started working with us, left, went and finished his apprenticeship in Hamilton, and has now rejoined us, and he's one of our senior members in our Whitianga shop. So pretty cool. That's after 11 years. It's pretty cool. I'm not sure what you mean, Barry. We've got Bray Marsden. His question was, what do you think of the merge between the aluminium companies? That merge, yes, I know what you're talking about. It's happened before, no doubt it will happen again. I don't think it's a bad thing. He's probably talking about, for those who don't know, Fletcher Aluminium and Nalco joining forces together, and now Altus. And I think the other companies have done it in the past, and it's been reasonably successful for them. I think for the size of New Zealand, I still think there's too many, perhaps not too many fabricators, probably at a good level now, to be fair. But we've probably got, in some ways, too much choice for the size of the country, although there's some great stuff overseas that we don't get here that I'd like to see here. But I don't think it's a bad thing. Actually, I think going forward, it'll be a good thing. There'll be some good positives come out of it for both, all parties involved, and more importantly, obviously, the end user, which is our customers or our clients. At the moment, for those that may be looking at apprenticeship and thinking, no, I can't really afford to do one, there are schemes now that the government are offering, which gives you free fees. Obviously, you've got to check that out and see whether you're eligible, which I think is a great thing. So they're really behind this, getting apprentices, and the BCITO encouraging people to get out there and get into an apprenticeship. They see the need for it. They can see that there's the work for it now. So it's worth looking into and trying for that. We've got a couple of our guys or staff at the moment, even some of our senior staff that don't have apprenticeships under their belt are looking at it. They've been in the trade a long time and going, hey, look, that might actually help me out, and I might try and do my apprenticeship. So we've got adult apprentices potentially looking at, or we have got some now. So go for it, have a look at it and check it out. Another question we had is, what do I enjoy doing most? Well, I started off doing aluminium joinery really when I left school. When I first left school, or even when I was at school, I really wanted to be a builder. But back then there were no building apprenticeships at the time. I enjoy it all, actually. Each aspect of our business, I guess, whether it be windscreens, glazing, or joinery, or install, each has its own challenge. I've worked in all of them, in all facets of the business. Some of the staff might, take the mickey out of me and say that I wasn't any good at any of it, but still worked in it and managed to find my way through. But I like it all. It's all challenging. It's all, as I say, it's all got its unique little bits to it. As I said, we're lucky, and I guess to a degree, our staff are lucky that they have the opportunity to not just work in one facet of the business. They get to learn a lot if they want to. And as say, Brennan is a classic for that. He's put himself out there. He's jumped into everything, boots and all, and learnt as much as he can, and then jumped in and done an apprenticeship along the way. And he's reaping the rewards for that now. Somebody just asked me, is Brendan doing another apprenticeship? Not at this stage. He is happy doing what he's doing now. He sort of he's going basically the different times of the year the business changes, I guess, and the workload changes in the different areas. So because as I said, he's so diverse, he is happy to jump in and help out wherever he's needed. So currently he's working with Chris, our head auto glazier, doing windscreens, flat sticks, obviously with all the roadworks around it, and being summer, there's lots of roadworks, lots of stones. So we're doing chip repairs and windscreens flat out at the moment. So he's busy helping Chris. At this stage, that'll continue for quite some time by the looks of things, with all the metal that's going down around the place. But he'll move from there to glazing or back into some aluminium joinery, basically just wherever he's needed. And that's the beauty, So he doesn't get stuck doing the one thing all the time. He gets to dabble in the whole lot, And we've got other guys that are in similar positions that do that as well, So some of them have been in the install team, moved into aluminium joinery, doing fly screens or things like that, yeah. The other question: what would I do if someone really mucks up? How would I react? We've had that. That's part of it. We're all learning. We've had some, to be fair, probably some pretty huge muck-ups along the way, different things, and that's all part of the learning curve. Probably in the earlier days, probably might have yelled and yahooed a little bit. These days, a lot more mellow, and that doesn't really, yelling and yahooing at somebody doesn't fix the problem. Basically, no one's going to learn from that. We're not going to achieve anything. It's done. What's done is done. It's about learning from it and hoping that we don't make that same mistake again. It's looking at it. Why did that happen? How do we fix it? And how do we stop that from happening again? Whether it be a procedure or something like that we can put in place to ensure that doesn't happen. We've got heaps of questions coming in. So somebody asked, what is the most challenging aspect of being a boss? I guess it doesn't matter whether you've got one staff or 100 staff. Dealing with the people, I suppose, is probably one of the most challenging. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it can be quite challenging. Obviously, dealing with moods. We all have our good days and bad days. Some days we want to come to work, some days we don't. We come to work in a bad mood. We get our ear chewed by somebody, and they don't mean it. It's just that's probably the hardest thing. It's just sort of making sure that everyone's getting on okay and doing their job. And we want to make coming to work a pleasant thing, not a bad thing. We want it to be nice. We've all got to work, unfortunately. We'd all like to be fishing or hunting or on a beach in Hawaii or something like that, but we have to work. That's what we do. That's probably, the most challenging thing is managing the people within the business. Somebody asked, do we have any openings for an apprenticeships at the moment? Not right at this time. We're pretty much filled up right at the moment. As I said earlier, if you're owning a good business, business is booming at the moment. Things are busy. The whole building trade's going flat sticks. Who knows? Watch the space. We are taking people on quite regularly. As the business grows, and of course, the odd one does move on and go to, other pastures or moves out of town or whatever, or looks for other trades, So, somebody's asked me, which is a really good question actually, has it been challenging having a female working in the trades? I would say no, to be honest. Siobhan, initially I thought it might be, and to be fair, I've probably not actively gone looking for females to work in the trade, on the floor. with the boys, because there's always been that sort of, I suppose, that bit of a stigma there, that girls can't do it. But girls can do it. There's no reason why they can't. And Siobhan's, you know, not a very big, powerful, strong girl, but she's proved that she can mix it out there with the blokes. In actual fact, probably still lifts some at times heavier stuff around than some of the guys in the factory. So no, to answer your question, hasn't been challenging at all for me. Probably a good question to ask her, actually, whether it's been challenging. But no, no real challenges with that that I can really speak of. Yeah, no, the guys that have been in the factory, that have been working with Siobhan, have treated her just like one of the boys, as I would expect. You know, when I say that one of the boys, it's one of the boys. You know, just another staff member that's there to do a job, same as them. Yeah, so yeah. Somebody asked me, can we elaborate on a muck-up that you now look back at and laugh at? Yeah, probably there's a few that that I've made, I'll be honest. Let me think. Probably the most common one for me is just doing a wrong measure, or one in particular, and I think probably a lot of aluminium companies or business owners or reps or whatever possibly have been in this position, and hopefully you wouldn't want to do it too often. Was I just didn't check an email that came through to me properly. I didn't read it properly. Ordered a household of windows, and it was the wrong colour. So effectively, you know, the staff did a great job, made some absolutely outstanding windows and doors, delivered it to site, and the homeowner went to the wrong colour. So that was obviously rather embarrassing, because I was the one that did the measure. I was the one that checked everything off, bar the one little line on the end of the email. My fault, can't blame anyone else. So yeah, that's one thing. Hey, I mean, straight up, honest with the staff. This is what's happened, guys. You have to remake this. Sorry, my apologies. You know, I mucked up. Subsequently, I had to have a shout for that. And yeah, the boys, well, all the staff enjoyed that. And I could see that I'm human, just like them. Make mistakes. You know, it happens. Yeah. Rightio. Well, probably thanks for watching. For anyone that might have missed the live broadcast, feel free to ask any questions in the comments below. And either myself or BCITO person will do their best to answer them. Please feel free to like and share this video, and encourage other people to get into the trades, you know, and do an apprenticeship with BCITO. To find out more about Legend Bosses, you can visit www.mybosslegend.nz. Or if you want any more information on becoming an apprentice, visit www.bcito.org.nz. Thanks very much. Cheers for watching again. Goodbye, and we'll see you again.